The golden lights of the hotel ballroom cast a warm glow across the elegant space. Sarah smoothed her brown dress one more time, watching as families moved gracefully across the polished floor. Tonight was the annual charity gala, and she had spent weeks planning every detail as the event coordinator. Everything had to be perfect. She adjusted her blonde hair and checked her watch. The evening was flowing beautifully, but something felt different tonight. There was an energy in the air that she couldn't quite place. Maybe it was the way the amber lights seemed to dance, or perhaps it was the gentle hum of conversation mixed with soft music. Whatever it was, Sarah felt a flutter of anticipation in her chest. Across the room, she spotted Michael adjusting his navy suit jacket. He stood with their two boys, both dressed in matching black vests and crisp white shirts. 8-year-old Jake was fidgeting with his tie, while 10-year-old Connor stood a little straighter, trying to look grown up. They made a handsome picture together, and Sarah's heart swelled with familiar warmth. Michael caught her eye and smiled. That same smile that had captured her heart 12 years ago. But lately, Sarah had been feeling restless. Not unhappy, exactly, but like something was missing from their comfortable routine. Work, school pickup, dinner, bedtime stories, rinse and repeat. She loved her family deeply, but she wondered if they had lost some of the magic that once made. Her heart raced. The boys ran off to find the dessert table, leaving Michael to walk toward her. His steps were measured, and Sarah noticed something different in his expression. There was a nervousness there that she hadn't seen in years. "Beautiful event as always," he said, but his voice carried a slight tremor. "Thank you," Sarah replied, studying his face. "You seem different tonight. Is everything okay?" Michael took a deep breath and glanced around the room. The soft lighting created intimate shadows, and the gentle buzz of the crowd provided a perfect backdrop for whatever was weighing on his mind. "Sarah, there's something I need to tell you," he began, his hands clasped behind his back. "I've been thinking about us lately, about our life together." Sarah's stomach tightened. This was it. The conversation she had been both dreading and somehow expecting. The one where he would say they had grown apart, that the spark was gone, that maybe they needed some time to figure things out. "I know," she said softly, looking down at her hands. "I've been feeling it too. We've become so routine, so predictable." Michael nodded slowly. "Exactly. And I realized that I needed to do something about it." Here it comes, Sarah thought. The gentle letdown. The careful words about how they were different people now than when they first met. How they needed space to rediscover themselves. But instead of the words she expected, Michael reached into his jacket pocket. Sarah watched in confusion as he pulled out a small velvet box. Her breath caught in her throat. "Sarah, you're right. We have become routine, but not because we've grown apart. Because I've gotten lazy. I stopped trying to surprise you. I stopped showing you how much you still take my breath away every single day." The noise of the ballroom seemed to fade as Michael opened the box, revealing a delicate necklace with a pendant that caught the golden light. "This is an engagement ring," he said with a gentle laugh. "We're already married. But I wanted to give you something that shows you're still the woman I choose every day. Still the woman who makes me want to be better." Sarah felt tears forming in her eyes. "Michael, wait," he said, holding up a gentle hand. "There's more." From his other pocket, he produced an envelope. Sarah opened it with trembling fingers, her eyes scanning the contents. It was a confirmation for a weekend getaway to the mountains. Just the two of them. No kids, no work, no schedules. "I arranged for my mother to watch the boys," Michael explained. "I thought maybe we could remember what it feels like to just be us again." The first surprise had taken Sarah completely off guard, but as she processed Michael's gesture, she felt a familiar stirring in her chest. The same feeling she used to get when they were dating, when everything felt new and full of possibilities. "This is beautiful," she whispered, touching the necklace. "But Michael, I have to tell you something too." Now it was Michael's turn to look nervous. Sarah reached into her small evening purse and pulled out her own envelope. Her hands were shaking slightly as she handed it to him. "I've been feeling the same way you have," she said. "And I also decided to do something about it." Michael opened the envelope, his eyes widening as he read. Inside were registration forms for ballroom dancing, lessons, something they had talked about doing when they were newlyweds, but had never found the time for. "I thought maybe we could learn something new together," Sarah said. "Something that's just ours. Something that would give us a reason to hold each other close again." Michael looked up from the papers, his smile spreading slowly across his face. "Ballroom dancing? I know it sounds silly, but it sounds perfect," he interrupted, stepping closer to her. "Absolutely perfect." Around them, the charity gala continued in its elegant rhythm, but Sarah and Michael had created their own private bubble of rediscovered connection. The golden lights seemed warmer now, the music softer, the whole world more alive. "So we both had the same realization," Sarah said, laughing softly, "that we needed to choose each other again." "Great minds think alike," Michael replied, fastening the necklace around her neck. His fingers brushed against her skin, and Sarah felt a shiver of the old electricity dot as if on cue. A slow song began to play. Michael extended his hand with an exaggerated bow. "May I have this dance, Mrs. Thompson?" "We don't know how to ballroom dance yet," Sarah protested, but she was already taking his hand. "Then we'll make it up as we go along," Michael said, pulling her into his arms. They swayed together on the edge of the dance floor, not quite dancing, but not quite standing still either. Other couples moved around them in more practiced steps, but Sarah and Michael were lost in their own rhythm. "I love you," Michael whispered against her ear. "Not the routine version of love, the real thing, the kind that still surprises me." "I love you too," Sarah whispered back. "All of you. Even the parts that drive me crazy." Jake and Connor appeared at the edge of their vision, chocolate smudged on their faces and grins stretching from ear to ear. They had been watching their parents dance, and something in their expression suggested they understood that this moment was special. "Mom and Dad are being mushy," Jake announced to his brother, but his tone was pleased rather than disgusted. "Good," Connor replied with 10-year-old wisdom. "That means everything's okay." And as Sarah looked around at her family, at the golden lights reflecting off Michael's eyes, at the promise of new adventures and rediscovered romance, she realized that everything was more than okay. Everything was exactly as it should be. Sometimes the best surprises aren't the ones that change everything. Sometimes they're the ones that remind you that what you already have is worth celebrating. The music played on, and the Thompson family swayed together in their own perfect rhythm, ready to write the next chapter of their love story.